Hello, planner friends. This is Kylie from Kiwi Crafts Co. And I am back with another video to show you guys my final creative journal spread for 2024 using my Mauve and Moss Happy Planner dot grid journal. So for today's spread, I will be using the New Year stickers that are in the I Love Winter sticker book by Keleva Plan. And then I picked out a couple of washies that I thought would go well with the colors in the spread and started by mapping out what exactly I would be doing for this spread. So I am a little behind in decorating for this final week, but this is going to be for the 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, and 31st. So since that is 5 days worth of journaling that I needed to set up for, I needed to use 6 pages, and I didn't know if I wanted to do an end of year recap on the 6th page since I only need 5 days to journal, but decided I would just figure it out as I go. So I knew I didn't want to do a sort of Dutch journal spread as I typically do in my previous spreads I've done, and so I decided to fold in the middle 2 pages. I figured that I could either use the smaller little sections as a day of journaling or potentially use that as just decorative space and not journal in there, since I technically only needed 5 spaces or areas that I needed to journal in. So I went ahead and folded these in and just start decorating what I knew I wanted to. So trying to come up with some sort of plan on what I want my creative journal to look like is a little difficult because I have a hard time being able to envision what I want my spread to look like. So I typically will start with the pages that are easiest for me, which are the main first page of the creative journal spread and the final page. That is typically what I start with because I know the area I have to work with. I have all that space that is allocated towards journaling, and then I have the space that shows whenever I fold the next page down. I have that available to be able to fully just decorate and cover up because I don't necessarily want my writing to show when I have the pages folded. So this is where I typically start. So using my vertical boxes, I don't normally use these in my weekly planner spreads because I use a dashboard planner. So I like being able to incorporate these in a unique way in my creative journal. So I went ahead and started by layering down those vertical boxes and then trying to map out again what I wanted to do. I said, okay, the first page will be obviously for the 27th. The smaller page potentially could be the 28th. And then that folded, once it's opened, like those 2 pages there could be one day. I have another day when I open it up on the left and another day on the right. I'm like, okay, what exactly is my plan? It's really hard for me to finalize it, and you'll see this a lot as I go through in my creative journal process where I have a plan to put something down and then I end up not liking it. So that's a lot of my process for my creative journal where I put something down. If I like it, it stays. If I don't, all right, it's coming up. So it takes me a long time to actually put together my creative journal spreads, but this is what I like about starting a creative journal is it challenges me in different ways because I am a very, I wouldn't say habitual person. I'm a very, maybe not risk taker. I take risks, but I don't at the same time. It's kind of difficult to put a word on what exactly my personality is, but I do think outside the box when it comes to work, but then when it comes to kind of personal stuff, I really like doing things the same way. So that's what makes it so hard about making my creative journal spreads. It's because I want it to look a certain way when I start, and if it doesn't go that way, I'm like, okay, time to start again. So this was a really needed outlet that I talked to my therapist about. I'm like, okay, I need something that's going to push me outside of my comfort zone, something where I'm able to put together something to get all the thoughts that are in my head out. And so this is what I decided to do, since I've seen a lot of YouTubers on here make their own creative journal spreads, and I said, you know what, I have a lot of sticker books that I have accumulated over the years, and so I'm going to just purchase a journal and get started. So the spreads that I've created before, I've really enjoyed, and it's really pushed me in a new way. So as you're seeing here, I'm really trying to decide where to start. I'm like, okay, what am I doing? So when I said that I have like all that space once the pages are folded down, this is exactly what I mean by all the space that is shown on the right side. That is what I can cover up with stickers. That is area that I will not be journaling in, so it just looks really nice when the pages are opened up and laid flat, and I can see all of this decoration on the side. So typically, again, this is where I start because this is the easiest part for me. I'm like, okay, I'm going to start by putting some stickers down. I'm going to start decorating it. And again, if I don't like how it looks, then I will pull the stickers back up. So I went ahead and laid down these 3 big stickers, and now just going through and decorating the smaller spaces, trying to cover that up, which I used to be more of a functional planner, not necessarily leaning more towards decorative. So if there was white space, I wouldn't ever have an issue with it. But something that I've been trying to challenge myself with this creative journal is try to fill up as much white space as possible, because in the journal it looks very empty if there is a lot of excess white space. So trying to put down some stickers that I think would fill up the space nicely, and just filling in those different empty areas, little gaps. So I really like the stickers that are in this collection. It's very old-timey, groovy vibes. So as you see, I have no issue with lifting up my stickers if I'm not liking how it's turning out, because again, I don't really go into this with a plan. I'm just trying to use this to get my brain moving, my brain stimulated, my creative juices flowing, because this is just not normal to me. I am not one who just throws things down, and I like to have a plan for what I do. So this is exactly why I've been enjoying my creative journal, because I just get to do something to keep my mind away from all the stress of work, all the stress of life, and just fully focus on my creative journal. I've learned that as I'm creating my journal, I'm not thinking of everything else that I have going on. And it's the exact same thing with my planner. I've been trying to add in more creative elements and more creative vibe for my planner. So my style has definitely changed over the last few years. If you look at my older videos that I have on my channel, you will see that everything kind of has a place. Everything kind of looks the exact same week to week, and that is something that I'm trying to change now, as I've had this channel almost 7 years. So obviously doing things in that planned way was not working for me anymore. That's just how I hold a lot of my stress. So by doing this, going kind of outside my comfort zone, I'm able to challenge myself, and I'm able to get all those thoughts out of my head. So as you see here, changing my plan, I had laid down that washi, the scalloped washi, and realized that no, I don't think that's what I want to do. I'm like, okay, I can use these two as more of a decorative page because again, I only need 5 spaces for journaling, not necessarily the 6 that I have to create an even full spread. So using 6 pages for my full creative journal spread, but I only need 5 pages worth to journal in. So my initial plan was to use these two as fully decorative. So that's what I had planned on moving forward with. And so I knew, okay, so if I'm going to use those two as fully decorative, then I think I'm going to make these 2 smaller pages as journaling. So it is a smaller space to journal, but this is usually the normal amount of space I have whenever I choose to do any sort of Dutch door spread or other spread in my creative journal. So it's nothing that I've never worked with before. So just going through and adding a couple of decorative elements to these pages. I don't want to add too much just because there is not a lot of space for writing. So went and found these little tiny flags that were in the kit and went ahead and placed that down. And then since I knew this page would be for journaling, I went ahead and grabbed one of the quarter boxes from the sticker kit. That way I can date on there. And I ended up also switching where the flags were at. I just wasn't a fan of how it looked coming from the left side, so I went ahead and moved that over to the right, and then just trimming off any of the excess from the page. So since I did have 2 of the flags, I wanted to do the exact same thing to the other side. So in a lot of my videos, I like to have symmetry going on, which you will hear me say a lot, and you will see a lot of symmetry that I like to keep in my spreads. So while I am going out of my comfort zone and being more of a creative journal, decorative journal person, I still like symmetry in my spreads. So that's exactly what I'm doing here, and just making sure it somewhat lines up. So I am just going to cut off the excess that is sticking out on the pages, the exact same thing that I did on the other side, and I'm going to add a couple of more stickers. So these champagne glasses that were toasting that I originally wanted to put on the final back page, I decided to add that into the smaller journaling page. I didn't want to do anything too big because again, I don't have very much space for journaling, but also wanted to keep the same color scheme I had going on for those pages. So the other side was more of the gold brown color, so I added in those champagne glasses and they fit the color scheme perfectly, and then added the pink cupcakes to the other side. So that took care of the majority of those pages because I want to try and keep as much space as possible. And then going through and grabbing a couple more quarter boxes so I know exactly where I will be journaling. Going to try and tackle this middle folded page that I put together. I noticed that the sticker book had 2 of these clusters of old-timey flowers, and I wanted to do like some sort of effect. I didn't know whether I was going to use these or maybe I was going to cut a couple stickers in half so it was like perfectly symmetrical. And I decided, you know what, let me go ahead and put these down and see where it goes. It didn't have the intended effect that I would like just because it doesn't look like something was cut right down the middle. So it wasn't exactly the vibe that I was going for, but I decided I was going to just go ahead and chug along. And then the stickers that I had removed from the final page, I went ahead and added these back to this page here. Again, symmetry, so having something up in the upper left corner and then having something in the bottom right corner. Now, in trying to count my number of pages I needed for my journaling spreads, I actually ended up creating an extra one, which I didn't realize until after editing. So, what I ended up doing is there will be an extra page that is intended for journaling, but I'm going to use it as a letter to my 2025 self. So, a letter to future Kylie of challenges and things that I had gone through in 2024, and what I would like to focus on for 2025. And that's something that I can read at the end of next year and just kind of reflect on what did I write to myself and what did 2025 look like. Now, getting back into decorating these inside pages, you will get to see how chaotic my brain works when it comes to these. Because, again, I don't go into this process with a layout in mind, and you will see that the beginning result here is not what the end result will be by any means. So I'm trying to figure out how to fill up this white space in a way that is functional. It gives me the most space to be able to journal, but also without it looking too empty. So I obviously don't want to add too many stickers, but if I do add some stickers, I will keep it alongside the border down below. That way I have a big space at the very top to be able to journal. And you will see that this just breaks my brain, because the more I try and do this, the more I end up not liking how it's turning out. And at the very end, I'll add something else to this page, which you will see, and it kind of helps tie everything together. But right now, this is the worst part for me personally in setting up my creative journal spreads, because I have so much space that I want to fill and not make it feel empty. So I went ahead and moved that sticker so that it's kind of sticking up, and just looking at it, it's so much white space. So how can I try and take away some of that white space, make it look more cohesive? And I decided to grab one of the washi tapes that I had set aside to potentially match with the colors in this kit. And then I'm taking my gyro cut just to kind of cut alongside the edge of the sticker. That way it kind of aligns very well. And I ended up cutting a little too much from the top because I didn't realize that it went up instead of curving down. So it curved inwards. So I'm like, okay, here I go again. And I really like this gyro cut tool because it helps give you really precise cuts, and really it depends on how much pressure you want to put down, because I only needed to cut through the thin washi and it worked very well. It really helps with trying to get very intricate cuts in very hard to reach areas. And after laying down that washi, I went ahead and got started on the right page, but this time using a different color of the little fireworks sticker. The other side was more of the gold, so this side is going to be more silver. And I decided to grab the black quarter box to pair up with it, and then going back for that other corner cluster to put down at the bottom corner. Now, again, I really like having two of these stickers because it makes for a very symmetrical spread, and going to also cut off the excess. And I noticed that this firework was a little bit bigger than the other one, but it was too late for me to remove it. I just decided it wasn't that big of a deal, so I left it. And then going to put some washi down along the edge and use my gyro cut to trim off the excess washi from the sticker. it still looked a little empty to me, and I decided, okay, I'm going to go ahead and line up the bottom and the top with some more of that same washi that I used along the edges. So I went ahead and removed those two stickers. Again, like I said, you're going to see a lot of removing and placing back down and lifting and changing my mind, because it really just depends on how I'm feeling of how it's coming together. So this is why I've really hesitated to film my creative journal process, because it is a long process for me, because I never really know how I want these to look, and it really is just what I end up putting together based on how I'm feeling. So going back through, and I'm making sure that I can crease along where the creases already are in the pages. I do the same exact thing with the washi. That way there's no weird bumps whenever I do go to fold them and open it back up. And I really liked how that looked. I think it kind of made it a very cohesive look to the page. And when I decided to add it to the top, I realized, well, shoot, I have those quarter boxes that I will have to remove off, and went ahead and did that so that way I could go and add washi to that top edge. Again, taking into consideration where the creases are already in the page and making sure that I can get the washi to crease at that exact same point. And then just using my gyro cut again to trim off the washi where it meets the edge of the sticker. So guys, definitely let me know if you are enjoying watching this chaotic process of putting together my creative journal. This is really therapeutic for me, so really it wasn't anything much by filming it. It's just the editing process afterwards, because this was about an hour and 45 minutes worth of filming, which is definitely a lot. Like I said, this is not a quick process for me, but I do enjoy filming it. I do enjoy editing it and posting it on here. So if you guys definitely want to see more of my creative journaling process, definitely leave a comment down below so I can get your guys' feedback. Now, you will see here again, my mind has been changed on what I want to do. And I went through that entire process of putting washi alongside the bottom and just to take it all off, because I really wanted to keep these little clusters of flowers together, because I already have the cluster that is similar to it with the corner stickers down in this page. So I'm like, okay, might as well just keep that going. I really like how it looks. Again, taking into consideration where the creases are, and then just using my little pen knife, knife pen to cut alongside the middle to cut off the excess of the sticker that was going over to the other side, but just being careful to not rip any of the stitching that keeps the journal together. So taking off the same sticker that I had on the front and going ahead and putting it down here on the inside. And I'm really glad that I did this, because I love how this looked a lot more. Because again, my biggest enemy is all of that white space. What am I going to do with it? How am I going to take care of not leaving it super empty, but then not making it super cluttered and full either? So it's a little bit of a process to make sure I like how it's looking, but also giving me enough space to where I can actually journal. So really love how it's looking so far, and as you can see, I am really happy with the decision that I made to go ahead and move those on the inside. So my next question was, well, shoot, okay, I got rid of those stickers. What is going to go on the outside? And I initially wanted to lift up these stickers, but these are ones that, as they are paper stickers, it is very easy to rip the actual sticker page. And so I was like, okay, you know what, it's not coming up. I'm gonna go ahead and just leave it there. I wanted to put some sort of quote or words on this front folded pages here. So I pulled out my Alpha Basic sticker book by Kelva Plan, and I'm going through and trying to find stickers that would be a good size, not too big to where I can't fit whatever I'm going to write on here, but also not too small where it would be really hard to see. So I originally wanted to put New Year's Day, something to that effect, but then decided I was going to write on here Goodbye 2024, because as I got rid of those floral clusters and put them on the inside, I had all this space to work with. So I decided I'm going to leave those boxes because I couldn't lift them without potentially ripping the page. But I was going to go ahead and add additional boxes to this page so that way I could write in them something to the effect of things that have happened this year that have been very memorable, and things that, you know, I'm happy to be saying goodbye to once 2025 arrives. So that was my plan, and I think I chose a really good size of letters in the sticker. And also because if I would have chosen anything bigger, I would not have been able to get the entire word goodbye to fit in this space. Now, I thought I saw some bigger numbers in this sticker book, and they are more towards the back, but they were in transparent sticker paper. So the goodbye that I wrote down here is in paper sticker, so it's not transparent, and I didn't want to use two different types of stickers because the transparents are more shiny whenever you're trying to photograph anything. So I just decided to use the exact same font of the goodbye that I used for the 2024. And I'm really loving how this page is turning out. I really wish I would have had stickers that were in different colors, but the black still matched the overall design, so it wasn't anything that I couldn't live with. And again, going back through and adding additional boxes, that way I could write down those memories of 2024. And I decided to keep the color scheme symmetrical because, as you see, the top one on the right is red and the bottom one on the left is gold. So I wanted to do a red longer vertical box on top of the gold sticker and then a gold vertical box underneath the red box over on the right page. Now, once I set those two down, I could only work with the space that I had, and then realized looking at it from this point of view, it was a little off-centered, both of those boxes. So I went ahead and moved over the champagne bottle opening and splashing around. I went ahead and moved that over to the first page and decided to put something else in that top corner. That way I could reposition this red sticker to be centered with the gold sticker. And even though I said these are a little hard to lift, it wasn't too big of a concern, only because I had just barely put them down. It's only an issue whenever you laid down these paper stickers and you've kind of let it sit on the page a little too long. That's when it's really hard to try and pull up the stickers without ripping your paper. So now that I have everything that I want on these two pages, I have Goodbye 2024, I have my boxes and my vertical boxes in here. It's just a matter of filling up the remaining space so that way it's not too clustered. And then I also repositioned that wine bottle because I felt it was way too close to those vertical decorative boxes I had on the first page. So went ahead and just readjusted that. and then also going back and grabbing more of my quarter boxes to put my dates. That's where I write in my dates for my journal entries. And as I mentioned before, that final page is actually going to be where I will write my letter for 2025 Kylie, because I miscounted and added an additional page where I was supposed to journal, but I want to make a cover page for January, and I don't want to start the first on this journal spread because I have a plan of what I want to do for 2025's beginning spread, and I will be using the same journal because I still have a lot of pages left in here, and I want to try to be more mindful and actually fill up this entire journal before I move to a brand new one. So going back through and filling up any additional spaces with some smaller stickers, trying to see if I can also add some other stickers anywhere else in my journal spread. And it was at this point that I decided, I can't add anything anywhere else, but it still looked kind of empty. So I went and grabbed 2 different mild liners that would match this spread. I grabbed the brown gold one and then my silver one because I thought that these two would pair very, very well. And I like to highlight every other line, and where the highlighted sections are at, that is where I'm going to be writing my journal entries. And I had the idea of picking 2 because I wanted to alternate the color of the highlighter I was using for the different days that I'll be journaling. So I started off with the gold one, and then the second journal entry would be the silver mild liner. And so then now opening up those flaps that I had folded, I am going and adding the gold one first and then going back in with my silver one. And you would think that this is super easy to do because I have grid lines to be able to assist me, but no guys, it is so hard to try and get an even line, and then it is so much highlighting, and I didn't even realize how long this process would take, which is why I am significantly speeding up this portion of the video. That way you guys aren't just watching me highlight every other line for the majority of the ending. But hooray, now all the highlighting is all done, and I really think that that was the last piece that this journal spread needed. It looks so, so good. I'm so happy with how it turned out, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and watching my creative journaling process. So again, if you guys enjoyed this, please leave a comment down below. And if you'd like to see more content like this, please like and subscribe. Well, that's it for today. Thank you guys again so much for joining me, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!